another in our series of opportunities to meet the new legislators that are in the North Dakota legislature. Today, Senator Desiree Van Oosting, who is from District 36,
Correct.
which is Judson, North Dakota.
Correct.
Yeah, where's Judson?
So Judson is 9 miles east of New Salem. So essentially New Salem, North Dakota.
Yeah, New Salem Sioux. Everybody knows that.
You can't miss it.
You've got New Salem Sioux in your
Country
district.
Fest now, too. They got the Indy Country Fest going on.
That's right.
Exactly. Bringing people from all over the upper Midwest. That's pretty neat. Well, good to catch up with you. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your decision to become a legislator and run for legislative office. What led to that?
Well, Scott, I actually kind of grew up in politics. My mom ran for office years ago during the 1980s, during the farm crisis. She ran for Senate and governor. And she was an independent, ran against Sinner and Olson. And so I grew up with it and then kind of ran away from it for a while because that was kind of scary as a teenager. And then my husband and I got involved with District 33 and attended meetings and got involved. We were redistricted recently to District 36 in 22. And if you look at the map of District 36, there's a little bubble on the east side, and that's our house.
Oh, no kidding. You're just in your district there.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Tell us a little bit about your background, what you did, what you've done, and what you bring to the legislature.
Yeah. So personally, my background I've always been passionate about health and wellness. I grew up with a family that practiced prevention, and so I ended up actually in a career, went to school initially for pre-chiropractic, but ended up being a massage therapist, and I've had a business in North Bismarck for 27 years. And then my husband works for B&I Coal, so he worked for Coteau Industry first, and then B&I Coal second, and he's so involved with the energy industry, and we are in coal country, of course, so we definitely support coal country.
And you're in the Energy and Environmental ENR committee.
Correct.
Environment and Natural Resources, what I'm trying to say, committee in the Senate. And obviously that'll be a committee that'll deal with a lot of issues related to coal. What do your constituents say? What do the folks in District 36 have to say about the industry and all the attacks that come from the regulatory standpoint? And, what mission do you have here as it relates to the coal industry? Well,
Scott, I'm hoping with the change of administration that we have some hope for alleviating some of the restrictions. So obviously the coal industry is very important, especially with the energy needs that we have coming into our state, with the AI centers and the people that need our energy. And we hope not to raise the rates for our citizens. And so there has to be a good balance, and the need for coal is very, very important.
I know that the lignite industry is proposing some tax changes that would allow it to, weather this storm a little bit and have a more favorable economic environment, as well as some additional research dollars to continue as well to, be able to use some of these new technologies. What do you think about some of the things they're proposing?
I think that's a great idea. The EERC is a great facility, great asset in research for our industries of energy, especially coal. When we took a tour of EERC, it was kind of fun because they were showing us the process of getting rare earth minerals from the coal, and ironically, my husband had just packed the bags for the research that they were doing that day at B&I Coal. So he was a part of that. His crew, not himself alone, but his crew. They are a team.
And of course, you look at the economic impact of this industry, not only obviously in the coal industry, making sure our energy is affordable and reliable, right?
Absolutely.
Is important, but of course together with the oil and gas industry,
absolutely,
this industry just generating the enormous amounts of dollars to come here and spend on priorities, right?
Yes.
And speaking of which, you're on the Human Services Committee as well.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that committee and about some issues you'll focus on there.
Right. The first thing that came through was distressed ambulance services. I believe that is Senate Bill 2033. And like, for example, the area where I grew up, we lost our ambulance service. And so a study was done to see what we could do about that. And out of it came 2033 to help rural ambulances that have been depleted. Like, for example, years ago, my mom had a stroke. Our rural ambulance came to get her, but that doesn't exist anymore. So it'd be a long time before she would have gotten help if it was current. And so they're trying to fix that. And
how would you fix that? What does that take to fix it?
They are creating a new entity to help those rural areas, whether it means hiring a few more EMTs to cover that service. And I think it's Senate Bill 2101 also requires better communication between the rural communities to make sure there is coverage. So there's a conversation that happens prior. If there's an ambulance service that is non-existent, there's a requirement to have that 911 service covered. So
things we don't think about in Fargo and Bismarck and Grand Forks and the bigger cities, you sort of just take it for granted.
Correct.
I mean, even the Valley cities and the Jamestowns and all across North Dakota. But when you're talking about New Salem and Judson, this is life or death.
Absolutely, we want to support our ag communities, and you think about farm accidents and people that live, out in the middle of nowhere who need help. And sometimes that does mean, a helicopter comes. But in some cases, it's your rural ambulance, and that's, unfortunately, sometimes there's not enough volunteers. That's what happened with the service where I grew up, the area where I grew up. They lost their service because the volunteers just weren't there. And so this covers that, and it's a great idea. I heard some complaints from constituents, do we need to grow government? But yeah, this is an important piece.
Yeah. That's what government does best, right? I mean, life or death issues.
Yeah, this is an important piece. I have done some dumb things out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe got bucked off a horse or two.
Any other priorities that'll be important for you this session? Property tax relief seems to be the big conversation right now, right?
Yes, absolutely. Property tax. I'm waiting to see all the ideas that are coming through. The governor has a great thought process starting, but there are 40 plus bills as well being listened to, and I think they are planning to listen to everything and come up with the best idea for North Dakotans.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, your mom would be pretty proud, having been, on the political front, and even, as you say, running for governor. She is. She's very proud, and she honestly is sporting her Trump hat right now. She's a mega mom. She is. Yes. So she's very proud. Yeah, no kidding, and pretty happy with the direction of the country. Yes. That's great. It's great to meet you. Thank you. Thanks so much.